Hey, there's my chest. Alright, alright, alright. Yeah, this title screen is ballin' out of control. Like, especially when the demon comes out and goes. That's dope. Faux show. uh. Alright, I think we're going to get a countdown pretty quick here. Alright, ready to get started whenever I am. Oh, you're running the timer. Alright. Then let's go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right. Demon's Crest. A game that is notoriously difficult casually and a huge pain in the butt when it comes to speedrunning. So the task route donation incentive was met, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I think this is actually the first time it's ever been done in a marathon because no other human is crazy enough to try it. There's a lot of differences between the two routes, but I'll just sum it up in saying that the task route has a much more difficult early game and an easier late game. But where the regular route has two-frame tricks, this route has 5. Give Samuel a little kiss on the mouth there for good luck. So this is 100%, which means we're going to be getting all the items. That gold that I just picked up there is called Zam. So if you hear me say Zam, really it's just gold. So one of the types of items I need to get right there is parchment, and what it's used for casting spells, but the spells are really expensive, So they're pretty much worthless. Even casually, they're worthless, so you're not going to see any magic here, which kind of sucks, but you guys said you wanted to see me go fast, and that's what we're going to do. So there's a little manipulation on this boss, and I got it pretty good. We want him to come down slowly so that we can basically just wail on his face the whole time. So that right there was a health upgrade. It refills your health and gives you one additional little health, which are those little red circles in the upper left-hand corner. There's a couple of significant speed techniques we use in this game. One of the most important of which is you always want to be jumping or falling when you shoot. If you shoot from a standstill, Firebrand stops for just a quarter of a second or whatever, but it adds up. Going fast, I'm out. So there's a little trick here, and there's lots of little manipulations in this game, and I'm probably not going to be able to catch them all, but this is a significant one here. We call it the Ascent. I'm going to try to manipulate a spider down by jumping at the perfect moment. That spider right there, but I messed it up. Normally we would crawl along that right wall, which would allow us to jump up here a few seconds faster than normal. So one theme in this game is that you're going to be seeing a lot of bosses over and over and over again. This boss right here is General Arma. He's a huge point of RNG. There are some manipulations we can do to this boss, and most bosses in the game have a little bit of manipulation. There are some kind of arguments in the community about whether or not bosses in this game can actually be fully manipulated. But I say yay. We can manipulate these bosses. Basically what we're going to try to do is stay on the ground as much as possible when we fight bosses so that they don't fly to the top of the screen. That item you saw there is called a Crest. And just like any good Capcom game, when you kill a boss, you get an upgraded power. So that one that I just got is Ground Gargoyle, and it's gonna, again, Capcom game, right? So now we have this dash. This is the fastest way to move throughout the game, so luckily we get it right away. Now, the task route does a lot of crazy stuff, one of which is it goes down here first to pick up this item to allow us to do some tricks later. So I'm going to take an intentional death here. The task can manipulate health drops. So what it does there is it actually manipulates health out of each one of those mermen, so it doesn't actually have to die, but as a human, it's impossible. That's a frame perfect jump right there. If you jump at the exact time you hit those blocks, they don't knock you back. It saves a little bit of time, and it also looks super cool. So this room gets dark, but fret not, because I know exactly where I'm going. But be impressed. There will be one more dark room later on in the game. Alright, so like I said, the early game is a little bit scary here. This boss can be pretty tricky, and I'm going to do a risky fight where I stand on top of this goo and shoot these eyeballs. And the reason I do that is because when you're standing on the ground, a shot from this power, this ground gargoyle, does 2 damage. So I'll show you right here. So that does 2 damage. That only does 1. So I'm going to try to get as much 2 damage hits on these eyeballs as I can. And then also, you know, trying not to die, which is generally not recommended in this game. Getting really trolled here. give him some really nice life drops, so that's good. Alright, so that wasn't too bad. So again, I'm going to try to maximize some ground shots on this guy to do 2 damage. And just like that, you manipulate the fight. Game over. Another common trick in this game is to pick up items as early as possible when the boss drops them to transition to the next level. So what I do is I float all the way down to the bottom of the screen and pick up the item as soon as it spawns. Otherwise you have to wait for death animations and things like that. And that's boring and slow. Here's the mini game. This is one of the biggest barriers to people when they're first learning the run as a casual. It looks really easy, but it's actually quite difficult. I've done it a few hundred times, so it's not that hard. But those little torches on the side count down your time, so I need to break 25 skulls before those torches run out. When I'm really on my game, I can do it with 4 torches left, but I think this is going to be probably 3. Yep. Fun fact, you don't actually need this health to fight the final boss and get the best ending, but we require it for 100%. Alright, so here's where we get into the really big differences between the task route and the regular route. I just bought 2 potions. Sorry, I had to count the flaps there. I just bought 2 potions, the blue ones, they're called Mercuries, alright? And what Mercury does is when you use it, it brings you back to the previous section of the stage that you're in. And why that's good for the speed run is that each level has basically 2 paths and 2 main bosses, alright? So normally when you kill a boss, you would have to, go back to the world map and re-enter the level and then go all the way back through the game again. Well, what Mercuries allow us to do is exploit this little glitch where we can pick up a boss's item, use the Mercury potion immediately upon picking it up. Sorry, this is kind of a tricky section here. All right. And when using the Mercury potion right when picking an item up, not only do we kill the boss and pick up the item, but we can actually stay in the same level and a lot of times actually skip some content without ever having to go to the world map. Some damage boosting there. So those are the 2 frame tricks I'm talking about. There's 2 frames where I can pick up a boss's item and cast this potion. This run does 5 of them, so cross your little fingers and toes because they ain't free tricks, that's for sure. The first one is going to be after I kill this boss. And if I don't get it, it's going to cost me about 40 seconds, which is an eternity. That's bad. Alright, let's see if I can get this. What I do is I try to line up my elbow. I use my elbow as a visual cue. So what you saw there was a perfectly executed Mercury Capsule. Again, it's a 2 frame trick. So 1 down, 4 to go. Yeah, this game is actually really dark. Like, if I was a child playing this at night, I mean, back in the day it was scary and dark, but it's a great game. Lots of really good art, sound. The gameplay is excellent. So here we're going to see some more damage boosting, and this run actually has quite a bit of it. What I'm going to do is when I fall on something, I'm going to quick turn around the other direction to get boosted the other way. Like right here. Now, one of the reasons that we do the eyeball boss first is that it gives us this breaker weapon, and that allows us to, you know, get access to all sorts of different drops and things like that that we wouldn't be able to otherwise. So I'm going to use another Mercury potion here. And that's because when you kill this boss, it actually despawns some trees. And these trees now, if you remember, there were a bunch of burning trees. Up in those trees was a really sneakily placed health drop. So entering the boss fight causes the trees to despawn. So what we do is we enter the boss fight, use a Mercury potion to make sure that we're still in the same level. It spawns us back in the level, and voila. We grab the health, fight the boss again, and then we never have to come back here. Now, if you remember what I was saying before about trying to pick up boss items early, that's what I'm going to try to do here. So this boss takes 20 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4. Count with me now. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So what I do is the last shot, I'm inside of him, and you don't even see the item drop. It causes about a 7-second time save of death animation there. So now I need to go pick up more Mercury potions. I hope I have enough gold. I think I do. Cool. Alright. So now we're going to go off to Flyer. The boss names in this game are ridiculous. It's like Flyer, Crawler. You know, really creative names. What does this boss do? He flies. Well, let's call him Flyer. It's a pretty simple section, but one of our first instances of a vertical level. Break some blocks, and you can see the lag in this game is tremendously bad. You'll see that in quite a few spots here where it takes about 1,000,000 years to do anything. And it's all about how many sprites are on screen. Here's a nice little trick right here. We shoot 2 shots that hit both of these guys, and they swoop under us perfectly. If you missed it, don't worry, I'll be doing it one more time a little bit later. Now, if I get it just right, you can actually get a hit on this boss. There's a single frame where if you get lucky and hit it, you can actually shoot and hit this boss before the boss fight starts. We use ground Gargoyle here again because he has the capability of doing 2 damage on ground shots. And this fight is actually pretty difficult to do with ground Gargoyle, but it's okay. I'll be alright. Don't cry. Really well executed fight. Alright, here comes the second of 5 Mercury Cancels. Now this one's a little bit easier, knock on wood, because there's so much lag, I have a little bit more time to line it up. Boom. We got another one. 2 for 5. Now, as you'll see, not only do I not go to the world map, but I skip this entire section of the level. So yeah, it saves a lot of time, but again, we're talking about 2-frame tricks here, which is why this route is so incredibly difficult. Another boss refight here. I think this is actually our first refight. There's going to be quite a few of them. But again, we use ground Gargoyle here to do 2 damage instead of 1 as much as possible. And what I'm going to do is stay on the ground and turn away from him to get him to stay down on the ground. Excellent. Show you some nice little glitches here with these tornadoes. This is the item that I got from Flame Lord. You can stand in midair. There's some other cool stuff you can do, but I don't want to waste any time. Some really cool looking tornado movement here. I messed it up a little bit. I'm not going to describe every item in this game unless I actually use it, so that item that I just picked up, it's a piece of garbage that we never use. Now this room actually has some vertical wind, so I can actually fly upwards, but it's slower to fly than it is to climb up the wall. So, another refight here. This is going to be Arma again. Ground Gargoyle. How much damage does he do on the ground? 2. So if I'm really fast, I can get over there and do a 2 damage shot. Now we gotta have this guy staying on the ground. I'm going to see if I can get a little bit of a manipulation here. Sometimes you can get him caught in the corner if you shoot at just the right time. But what we don't want is for him to go up to the top. So by going and wiggling under him, it kind of like confuses the AI because it doesn't like know where to go. So it's like, all right, well, if I want to hit this guy, I'm going to need to get closer. So that's what it does. Now he should come down and do tornadoes. Once he gets to a certain health, he'll do this. And you can get a lot of shots on the ground. So it's actually faster. He should come down one more time here. Not too bad, but not great. This crest allows us to fly. I'll show you what that looks like in a second here. Once we get the flying gargoyle, things get a lot easier as far as traversing levels go. So here, I can literally just fly over all of the nonsense. So just enjoy the mountainous backdrop and the beautiful organs. And the crazy skeleton birds. And walking on the ice is actually slow, like it's slippery. And I don't just mean that in a funny way. You actually slide around a little bit if you walk on it. So there's an item hidden in this pile. And after I beat this boss, there will be another Mercury Capsule. Now this boss looks easy, but you have to time it just right. You have to drop to the ground right when he drops his shoulders. And if you go early like that, you get bodied. And this guy is notorious for killing runs. It looks extremely easy, right? Just wait until his shoulders drop, but it is so hard to stay focused, especially when you're talking to people. And sometimes he'll troll you. He'll like wait a little bit extra, or he'll run underneath you. Like, he's tricky. Alright, now this Mercury Capsule is actually extremely difficult because the ice is so slippery. Oh! Alright, so what you just saw right there is basically the worst thing that you can do. And while it sucks for time, it is a really good display of why Mercury Capsules are so dangerous. I'm going to die again just so I can get back to full health. So what happens is, again, it's a 2-frame trick, all right? So If you get it, great. You pick up the item, you don't have to go back to the world map. Everything is good in the world. If you pick up the item before you use the potion, that's all good, right? You get the item and you just don't save time. But if you use the Mercury potion before you pick up the item, what happens is exactly what you would think happens, right? You don't actually pick up the item. But you go back to the stage. So what happens is, now I'm going to have to fight this guy all over again. And this is probably one of the worst bosses to do it on. Normally you would just be one level back, but I actually had to traverse both levels to get to this guy. But you guys said you wanted task route, so I'm not going to go... I'm going to go ham on these Mercury cancels. If I get them early, I get them early. So we're 2 for 5 with 1 early. But an early Mercury cancel, it's basically like a controller breaking, SNES burning, kill me now mistake. All right. So a little bit more flyer hijinks. Fly up here, grab this potion, and fly through the rest of the level like a nerd. I'm killing these birds to try and farm a little bit of gold. We've only done 3 out of the 5 Mercury cancels, so that means I need to buy a few more potions. And potions ain't free, yo. I'm trying to save the ghoul realm and people are still making me pay for potions. Like, what is this nonsense? Help me help you, you know what I'm saying? There's a really cool little damage boost here. If you just jump up into that guy, you'll boost right through him every time. It's a really neat little trick. Shoot there, and that manipulates that troll to throwing axes behind me. And there we go. Second refight. Now this one's a little bit easier. We'll be fighting Flyer again, but this time we'll be using his... we'll be using the Gargoyle that hurts him the most. So just like in like a Mega Man game, each boss has a certain type of damage that hurts it the most. And for Flyer, it's the Flying Gargoyle, naturally. So you're going to see me just wreck this dude's face right here. His face needs wrecking. Like, have you seen that thing? It's disgusting. Now this is where the task route actually is a little bit easier than the regular route because I have so many hit points. At this point, you would normally have like 3 less health. So here's a Darkroom. We use these chandeliers as visual cues on where to move. It's also super laggy. But it's a really cool looking room because you literally can't see anything. But there's spikes and hands that come out of the ground and bats and crap everywhere. Like, if I turn the lights on, you'd be like, oh damn, look at all that stuff! So it's actually better. It's better to leave the lights off.
Listen, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Alright, here's Arma again for the 3rd time. I'm going to count again. 2. Count with me. 3. 4. We're only going to count to 12 this time, so don't be scared. 7, I think? God, I stopped counting and now I'm lost. It's not going to matter, though. If you kill this boss up against the left wall, you can actually pick up his item a little bit early. But he didn't give me a chance to do it, so... Nice math, everybody. I'm so proud of you. Your parents would be proud, too. Alright, so that's the ice level. Now we're going to go buy some more potions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back to Ground Gargoyle, but I'm going to do a quick check on my gold. I need 32, and I only have 22. Now luckily, this pot right here always drops a 20 spot. So we can just use that to fill the gaps. So I'm going to buy 2 Mercuries, and you only need 2 sulfurs, but it's faster for me just to fill out my potions and exit the stage. So back in this level, this is one of the few stages that we actually have to revisit in the game, because we don't have the block breaker, basically. So, I'm just going to kind of run through here like a maniac. Do some jumping ground shots. If you jump at the exact same time you shoot, you can shoot while standing on the ground, but actually get forward momentum. So it's kind of like a little, I don't know if I want to call it a glitch, but it's a time saver. All right, Mercury number 4 coming up. This guy is a scrub. Once I killed that 3rd Arma, it gave me the legendary Gargoyle, and this guy wrecks face. Okay, so a missed Mercury Capsule, but it wasn't early. So that loses that one loses about 12 seconds if you miss it. So I'm 2 for 4. Which is only mildly disappointing. You guys are the ones who made me do this route after all. So there's 1 Mercury Capsule left, so hopefully I can stay above 50%. Now this merman is interesting. I'm hoping that he drops an item. If he were to drop an item there, he wouldn't respawn. And when he respawns, it causes the game to lag so uncontrollably bad. That item that I just picked up right there is called the Hand. And what it does is it allows you to have double the number of shots in the air at any given time. So like before with that breaker gargoyle, normally you can only have 2 shots in the air at any given time. Well, with a hand, I can now have 4. And that's not only cool, but it's useful for breaking bricks really quickly, which is important for speed reasons. Now the yellow potion is sulfur. What that does is it just allows me to exit the level at any time. So we use it on these revisits. Otherwise, we would have to basically go all the way to the boss room to exit the game, and that is slow. Super slow, dudes. You don't even know how slow it is. You don't even know. Ah! So we're going to do one last revisit here. And this is actually one of my favorite levels to run, is this revisit, because I really like using Ground Gargoyle here. Some people will just fly over this with the flyer and just like swag over the whole level. This is actually a little bit faster. It's a lot more difficult, but, you know, saves time. Imagine having Flyer to start the game and just flying over all this crap in the beginning. That'd be the dream. So one more sulfur. You know, early Mercuries are bad, but early sulfurs are even worse. Sometimes people will get a little bit excited and hit the sulfur potion before they pick up the item, and they actually have to go back through and replay the level again. It's hilarious if you're not that person. So here I'm jumping as much as possible. When you stop to fly like this, it takes up 1 frame. So you want to try to be on the ground as much as possible. Break some stuff, get some items. Well, here's a really cool movement section where the hand helps out, where I have 2 shots in midair, where normally I could just have 1. Getting drops out of these things you break causes just a silly amount of lag, so ideally we don't get any items out of those, but sometimes can't get around it. Alright, so here's the last Mercury Cancel. Now this boss control you big time. This is called the Crawler, or Pizza Face, Pizza Man, Pizza the Hut. But what can happen is what you see right now, where he basically just walks back and forth. We have not discovered a way to manipulate this boss. But if you find a way to manipulate him, please call me at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because seriously, I want to know. So this is terrible. This is really bad. Sometimes he'll open his eyes up right away and you can just like mash and kill him instantly. And sometimes he could just walk back and forth for a minute. And it's super sad because this is late in the run. All right, let's see if we can get this Mercury, and I can bat better than 50% for you guys. Ah, 2 for 5. It's a sad story. So that loses about 20 to 25 seconds. So if I were to get the Mercury Cancel, normally I wouldn't have to play through this whole section at all. So your time loss basically is coming back in from the world map and going through here. And you see why the task route is not... the task route actually isn't faster than the regular route if you're a human. I've been testing it out a lot, and I would recommend watching the tasks of this game. It's actually a pretty interesting run. But with all the RNG manipulation and the drop manipulations that the task does that we can't do, the task route is just, it's not really viable for world record times unless someone happens to discover a better setup for doing more consistent Mercury Cancels. But for now, those 2-frame tricks are just, they're too difficult to integrate into a 40-minute run where there's 5 of them. But it is the much more exciting route. So what I'm going to try to do is snipe out these water guys before they can cause me issues and shoot crap at me. So there's a small section really close to all of this coral where if you shoot just right, it'll go just over the coral and hit the fishmen. So that was actually really good. And the lag through there is like, it's just like, bleh. It's like, bleh. It's bad. So here I'm switching to the ultimate Gargoyle, even though it's going to cost me some health. because this dude can't breathe underwater, apparently. Now this guy is also a really sore point in the run. Lots of lag. And whether or not he blows or sucks you to start out is like basically just RNG. So what I did there was I waited to walk inside of him again to pick up an item. So you're not even going to see me pick up this item. And it saves, you know, probably saves like 10 seconds on this boss, anywhere between 5 and 10. So now we move into the final stage. Switch to Ultimate Gargoyle. And I'm going to kill some enemies here to reduce lag. These guys take 3 shots, so it's a little bit precise. That guy will slide under me. Now this guy's a little bit different. I gotta do 1 shot and then 2 shots. And that avoids all lag. Oops. There's the 3rd and last time fighting Hippogriff. This time, hopefully, if I do it right, he'll come down here. And I'll kill him before he reaches his pinnacle here, hopefully. Nope. But I got lucky and he dropped down, so pretty good. Oh, yeah, it's legendary, not ultimate, sorry. Ultimate Gargoyle is what you get for beating the game. Full health. Now at the top of this tower is one of the most deviously placed items in this whole stupid game. You're never going to guess where it is. But I'll tell you. It's in this bell. The last health drop. Now this is another room that has wind in it, so if you're flying as Firebrand right here, it's like the fastest way to move through the game is flying through these windy rooms. So that's why I'm not using the flying gargoyle. Now I am going to switch to him real quick. This is a strat I just started doing like today, basically. To fly up and out of here. So brand new strats coming at you live. That last item I just picked up is called the Fang, and it causes you to do double damage. As if we weren't doing enough damage already. Now we're doing literally twice as much. Double the damage, double the fun. And this is the most satisfying fight of the game right here. Remember how long it took to kill this guy before? Watch this. Four hits. So much damage. So much damage. Alright, so this is the final boss. The first of 3 phases. Now, I don't get a chance to refill my health again, and it's really important to go into the final phase with as much health as possible. So I'm going to try not to take damage here, but it's really hard. So don't judge me if I take a hit. Okay, I got lucky and he swung under me. Very cool. Now we watch a little cutscene. A shiny light happens. And now we get into phase 2. Now I'm going to take damage here no matter what, but I'm going to try to minimize it as much as I can. 1, 2, and 3 in the knee. Jump for air. Now this boss has some really bad lag, depending on what he does. Those blue balls are super laggy. But there's an attack that he can do that's even worse. And it's that gravity ball. I'm glad you got to see it, just because you can witness the terrible lag. So bad. But I have 16 health, and that's more than you can ask for going into this final boss. Now this final boss, it's got to be one of the hardest bosses in the entire Super Nintendo library. It took me 40 minutes to beat this guy the very first time I fought him. Yeah, he's really tough. But there's a quick kill strategy where we basically can get in his face and just mash. But it's really hard because if you get hit in the body, you take 4 damage. And even though we have a lot of health, 4 damage is a lot of damage. So I'm going to try to damage boost off of things that do less damage if I can. So this is really good so far. Super good. Okay, so he did a lot of damage there. I'm going to jump back in here. And almost die. So, like most bosses, this guy turns red. That's time. Whew. So that was an okay fight. If you do it just right, you can basically just mash in his face and get hit and jump back up and mash and mash and mash. But that was actually not a bad fight. I'm happy with that. So that is the task route of Demon's Crest. Again, you know, theoretically it's faster, but as a human, it's too hard and too inconsistent. But it is way more fun to watch, and it's actually more fun to play, so I'm really glad that the incentive was met. So thank you guys so much for donating and making all these incentives happen. It was pretty cool to see every incentive basically get met for this marathon. And yeah, okay, technically that's not the final boss, alright? There's a whole nother boss called the Dark Demon now. After killing the final boss here, the third form of Phalanx, you get I think it's the Heaven Crest, right? Whatever. But it gives you the power of the Ultimate Gargoyle, and the Ultimate Gargoyle has every single gargoyle's power. And he does tons of damage, and it actually unlocks a whole nother boss. So at the end of these credits, there's a password, and if you enter that password, you get the Ultimate Gargoyle form, and it unlocks a new level with the Dark Demon. There is a category up on the boards that's New Game Plus. Basically, it's like a boss rush where we do that, but it's not. A few people play it, but it's not as big as 100% or any percent. So yeah, that's Demon's Crest, y'all. I hope you had a relatively okay time. I'm sorry I was only able to do 2 Mercury Capsules, but at least we got some. It'd been super sad to get 0. But really fun game. The any percent run is a great way to get into Demon's Crest if you're looking to play it as a speed game. It's only about, when you're starting out, it'll probably be a little bit tough, but once you get in the groove, it's basically like a 11 to 13, 14 minute run. That's a really great intro into the game. Adjustable. I'd rather have one that adds adjustable levels of game lag. If you can make that happen. Yeah, the community is actually pretty active. We do races every week, usually on like Saturday mornings. Yeah, and always looking for new runners. There's lots of tricks to be discovered, lots of skips we'd like to see, strategies to make Mercury cancels more than a 2-frame trick or a little bit more consistent. Nunu. I guess I can just read the screen. You guys would enjoy that, right? I don't speak Japanese, though, unfortunately. The Flame Lord. Another very creative name from the folks at Capcom. Yeah, the music is good. If you can guess the name of this boss, you win. I'll just watch the credits with you guys. What I want to do is, I want to go to a church and play this music on the organ. Turn all the lights down and light a crap load of candles. And just belt this out on the organ. You know, I didn't really get why Holothurian, like, sucked in and blew out. But I guess, like, snails actually do that. Look it up. Look up videos of snails eating things. It's crazy. Little dropping some science knowledge there. Should I stream some videos of snails eating stuff? It's actually really unsettling, so just be fair warned. And this, oh man, Samulo is like the saddest story in this game. He's such a cool boss. Huge sprite, like they obviously did a lot of work on him. And he's just so dumb how easy it is. And he never repeats. Like, I'd rather have 25 refights of Samulo than these other bosses. I guess I could do Dark Demon. I don't know. It's kind of sad, but I don't actually know much about the Demon's Crest lore. I just know how to beat the game really fast. Backstory. Yeah. So I guess I could do Dark Demon, you guys. I'll start Dark Demon, and then we'll see how it goes. So yeah, the end. So I'm going to just let this sit here for a little bit, and it's going to load up a password. It's probably going to say, like, Capcom, and then put the password on screen, I think is how it goes. Yeah, presented by Capcom. Nice job, Capcom. Another bang up job. So Dark Demon is actually really tricky fight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the town and I'm going to farm up some gold for health potions. Here comes the password. There it is, folks. Okay, everybody remember that? It's okay, the game fills it in for you. Yo! Alright. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to town and get some moolah to buy some potions. So this is Ultimate Gargoyle right here. He can charge, he can fly, he can swim, he can headbutt, he can do it all. Ladies and gentlemen. He also does just a buttload of damage. So one thing about this game that's really silly is that things are expensive, like crazy expensive. The health potions that I'm going to buy are 140 ZAM, which is funny because like the potions that we use in the speed run, they're the cheapo potions, like the 6 and 10 ZAM. Because the game designers were probably like, no one's going to want to use these crappy potions. Like, what does this one do? It leaves the level? That's stupid. No one's ever going to want that. This one brings you back to a spot in the same level? That's even dumber. Let's make that one cost nothing. But those potions are actually the most useful in the speedrun. And the expensive ones are absolutely worthless. Unless you're doing Dark Demon, of course. In which case, they're necessary. So, I'm going to actually try to get enough gold to do all 5. And I forgot to do this, but I'm going to put on this crown. It basically like doubles the chance for gold drops. How much money do I have? 125. I need like 600. Yeah, you can totally break these windows. Oh man, it's wild. So I'm just going to leave and come back. If I get lucky gold drops, I won't have to leave the town again. You guys are getting like a bonus donation incentive here. Hype! Yeah, so you see how much more gold I'm getting this time now that I have that item equipped. We're looking, those are 10, these are 20. Actually, I think those other ones are 5. The important ones are the 20 spots. Oh! Quadruple 20 spot, let's go. Can we get some hype? 80 ZAM on a 1 window? That just doesn't happen. Oh my word. This is also a really good place to practice for that mini game, which I think is the real reason they put this here. I'm making bank now. Alright, what do we got? 580, about 600? I think that's enough. Oh yeah, that's true. Going in and out of the shop is a little bit faster. Yeah, so these potions cost 140 freaking ZAM. I just need 100 more to fill it up. I don't want to have to do a refight, so I'm just gonna play it safe here. Alright. One last thing I want to show you guys is this weird little guy that's sitting down here. He doesn't really do anything. He says something in Japanese and then he just says bye. Alright. Whew. Alright. So the new level that spawns is right here. Looks just like the other castle, but it's not. It's a special castle. So they designed this level in such a way where you can use this gargoyle. Now, yes, he can swim without taking damage and he can break blocks, but no one is better at swimming than the water freaking gargoyle. Like, believe that. He is so much better at swimming. So, inside this door is the final boss. I'm going to try to use as few potions as possible. And this boss, like when we do races and stuff, it's not even about who kills him faster. It's about who uses the least amount of potions. So, let's go. This guy is tough. He's got 2 forms. And each one of them does way too much damage. So I'm going to try to avoid this pink waterfall. And this little energy orb is really annoying. You can kill it, but it always respawns. But it does a very small amount of damage to you. So I'm actually going to try to get hit by that instead of anything else. I'm going to just use a potion here, so that's 1. I'm going to go ahead and equip the next one in case I get into a sticky situation. Ah, don't headbutt, dude. Now, there's a couple ways to do this fight. I could have put on armor, and that, again, causes you to take half the damage. But it's way faster to do it with the claw and do double damage versus taking half damage. Two pots. This is going to be a 4-pot, I'm sure of it. Like, I'm not doing great. I'm taking a lot of hits to the body. And this guy does a ton of damage when he hits you in the body. Like, that's just a silly amount. So, more blood waterfalls. Now, the waterfall actually does a lot of damage. 3 pots. This could be a 5-pot. This is why I got 5, folks. Another pink waterfall. This is a really bad pattern. You can see this energy ball, it only does 1/2 damage. Which, that's an amount of damage I can get behind, you know what I'm saying? When this guy's phasing in and out like this, you can't actually hit him. Okay, 3 pots. There it is. Or was it 4 pots? I don't know. I lost count. We'll call it 3. We'll call it a 3-pot. So this is the true ending to Demon's Crest. So now you've seen every boss, every possible thing you can see. I even showed you that little green crazy guy that doesn't actually do anything. You've seen it all, folks. You're now lore masters of Demon's Crest. But yeah, that boss is actually really tough. I've done it with one potion just once, but you have to get lucky with the patterns, and you have to try way too hard. It's so much easier if you just bring 3 or 4. Yeah, there's actually 2 other endings in this game. The ending that you're seeing now, that's like the perfect ending where we kill the final secret boss. There's the ending that 100% does. There's another ending where you only fight the final 2 forms of Phalanx, and then there's the worst ending where you only fight the first form of Phalanx, and that's the any percent category. We don't actually, there's no category for the second phase Phalanx ending. You could maybe create one, but it's just not, it's not good. It's just not a very good category. So yeah, that's the Dark Demon. And that's all of Demon's Crest. No stone unturned. No boss unkilled. God, it's midnight, man. I'm usually dreaming at this time. I'm like an old grandpa when it comes to bedtimes. Yeah, so these credits go all the way through the bosses again. It's like, I just saw these, Capcom. I just saw these bosses. Show me something new. What should we do when they kill the Dark Demon? Let's show the credits again. Yeah, that's a good idea. To be fair, the credits are a little bit different. Still a lot of the same crap. I'll just let you guys listen to the music. You're sick of hearing me talk, and my voice is starting to get sore. Legend Arimer. There's Pizza the Hut again. Alma. Yeah. These are like the longest game credits in the history of the world. Somebody worked hard on these credits. Oh, nice. There's going to be another run. So this is what you don't, this is what you see in the special credits, I think, is you see Firebrand waving to you with his 8-pack and complete lack of reproductive organs. All right, well, if St4rSurfer cuts me off and goes to Flying Marlin, thanks again for watching Demon's Crest. And thanks for all the donations and things like that. And thanks to all the guys putting on the tech for the marathon. I know you should all know that everyone's working hard and putting in lots of hours to make this thing go well. It's actually, I think it's a pretty big improvement over over the summer. So hopefully these events can keep happening.